Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome everybody to the 7th anniversary of the start of the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com and Hockey Think Tank U, a place for all passionate parents, players, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. This is year 7, the start of year 7 for Jeffrey Jehu Lavecchio and I in doing this podcast. I actually cannot believe that we are 7 years into this thing, man. It's absolutely incredible. So today, what we are going to do is we're going to talk about the last 7 years and the biggest things we've learned. The biggest things we've learned that have given us perspective, the biggest things that we've learned that's made us better at what we do and made us better people, that we are just so grateful, guys. We are so grateful to be able to have done this for so long. And man, just I seriously am having a little bit of a pinch me moment right now, even kind of talking about this. But before we do get into all of that, as always is tradition, let's bring on the talent, the meat of the podcast, a one Jeffrey, future pro, Jehu, Tatman, no tooth himself, Jeff Lavecchio. What's up, dude?
Tope said future pro because I'm repping one of our podcast guests and one of my best friends in hockey ever, former roommate, former NCAA Division I champion, Jeff Lerg, future pro. That's his company. What's up, Lergy? Giving a shout out, but holy balls, 7 years, Toph. 7 years, seven miles an hour. And usually when I pull people over, they pull over to the right side of the road. You guys know that one. We're friends. Dude, 7 years, Toph. How have we been doing this for 7 years? I will never forget the phone call when you were like, dude, I got a crazy idea. I would love if you and I started doing a podcast. What do you think? And by the sound of your voice, I think that you were thinking you were going to have to convince me. And I think I said yes before the sentence even finished coming out of your mouth. And we were like, okay, like now what? Oh, I guess we got to buy a microphone or something. And I think we started like the next week, man. And 7 years later, man, so freaking cool.
Yeah, I remember that. And it's so funny because I had actually, like, this was before podcasts were like big.
Yes,
and
correct.
Even like a year before I asked you, I was like, we should do a podcast. Like, I think that would be really good. Like, let's like start educating people, blah, blah, blah. And I just, computer technology, so dumb, and was like researching and I'm like, this is too much. I can't do it. But then eventually it was like, all right, like, let's just do it. Like, let's figure out a way. And so man, I don't know, Laura, if you can like find any pictures from back in the day, but like you and I were doing this over Skype. That's how long ago it was. It was me and you, and I had to buy these like Skype minutes or something like that. And we would call people on their phones and they would do it on their phones. You and I were wearing those big, like 1980s office headphone microphone kind of thing. Kind of like what Britney Spears wears at her concerts, you know, like, and it was just, and I'll never forget, we did 4 episodes before we released one. So we did 4 conversations and I wrote them down. So it was Kendall Coyne, it was Mike Schaefer, it was George Gwozdecki, and it was Rico Blasi. And so 3 of like the top college hockey coaches, you know, of this and any generation. And then Kendall Coyne, who at the time and still is, you know, one of the top women's hockey players in the world. And I just remember coming off of those calls being like, this was just like obviously it's going to make an impact on people because what these people are talking about is really great. But I just had so much fun doing it too. Dude, you know, like the hour that we are together and talking with our guests, and then the hour afterwards, now that we're doing the short shifts and the intros and all that kind of stuff, like it just like it's one of the best parts of my week is being able to do this. And so thank you for saying yes to this kind of weird, crazy idea. And it is so funny to look back at just where it's gone, you know, in the 7 years that we've been doing it, things that we tried that didn't work, things that we tried that did work that we're still doing. And man, it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to do this every week. And I've had a ton of fun with it, man.
Dude, it's wild. It's wild. Like all the places that I've done the podcast in too, like thinking back to every and dude, remember when your girls were little, you used to do it in your car, in the garage with no AC on because you couldn't be too loud in the house because your little girls were sleeping.
Yeah.
And we were doing it at random times. We just would like pick random times of the week when it worked for other people. And we had to find a way to battle to get it done in our crazy hectic schedules. And now that I have one kid, I can't imagine how you were able to do it, raising 3 kids over the course of that time as you were growing your family. And dude, I mean, it's, you and I always talk about like it's not a sacrifice when it's something you love, when you have to find a way to get things in. So I don't look at like the time that we've put in hours every week for 7 years, every single friggin' week for 7 years. The time that we have been able to cut out of our schedules as they continue to get busier and busier, as we both, elevate our careers and become more successful and raising little humans and all these things. And we still find that time. It's super, super special. I was going through a divorce when we started doing this, and, I just built a big, beautiful house that I had to sell and was podcasting in my parents' basement for a little while, or my old bedroom while I was waiting for my house to sell, and then an apartment, then a different apartment with my current now wife, now this house, and on the road in hotels and just like all the different places, man. It's been pretty cool to think back over the 7 years, and it's really special. And obviously I feel super lucky to do this with you because not only are you my cousin, but you're one of my best friends, man.
Yeah, man. I love it. It is funny thinking about some of the crazy places, having done this. I remember, I think it was right when Laura kind of just first started, but I was up in Calgary and I had to do one in the car, like getting Tim Hortons Wi-Fi. I kept cutting out because it wasn't very good. The things we do, and I forget who our guest was, but I remember that being pretty funny. But just going back to what you were saying too, like, obviously in all of our lives, we go through a lot of different ups and downs, and for me, particularly over the past 7 years that we've been doing this, I've had all 3 of my kids. So those have been pretty big life changes. Like we started this, I think Paige was 1, obviously if she's 10 now, or if she's 8 now, then that would make sense. Math major. Thank you very much. Was not a math major, by the way, terrible at math. But
gender studies, right?
Sociology. I was sociology.
Basically.
And then thinking about just, again, like all the ups and downs. I mean, I've moved 4 times in the last 7 years too, with the family and a wife. And I think our wives are saints for allowing us to continue to do this, even though it is only a couple hours a week. It's a couple hours that we're at home and not spending time with our families, particularly if it's at night. And so it's interesting because I've had some very tough moments too, some very, very tough moments over the past 7 years. And this podcast has been a really nice release to some of those tough moments, getting the chance to talk to you, getting the chance to, bring on some of our friends and bringing on some really, really smart people to be able to talk hockey with. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the thing that has been so, so cool is understanding and knowing the feedback from other people where our show, in whatever capacity, has touched their lives in some way. And so the messages that we get, the emails that we get, I mean, I've been stopped countless times in ice rinks by people just hearing the sound of my voice and being like, "Oh my God, that's Topher," and coming up to me is like, "Are you Topher? I listened to your podcast." And like, to me, that is so cool. And honestly, like we've gotten some notes, and not some, we've gotten quite a few of, like, it's almost emotional for me to even say, but like people who our guidance, our advice, or, you know, something that a guest of ours said has helped them to change the trajectory of their life in some capacity in a positive way. That was one thing in starting this, is we wanted to make a positive impact on the hockey world, but understanding the true impact that it has had on numerous amounts of people based on some of the notes that we get. That for me is so incredibly gratifying, knowing that what we do and grinding this out is in a lot of ways changing some people's lives, or helping them to reduce some anxiety, or listening to a story of something that me or you or somebody on our podcast went through that was really, really hard, that they're going through, or their kid is going through at that certain moment, and giving them some grace and giving them some perspective to help them to get through that tough time. It, man, I am kind of getting emotional thinking about it, because I'm just thinking back at some of these letters that I've gotten over the years, of some of these people. And it's just like, it's really cool to sit here like 7 years into it now. And, you know, that's our why, is we want to help people, you know, and that's been really, really cool.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, it's not like it's hundreds. It's hundreds of emails, hundreds of text messages, hundreds of DMs for both of us. It's really, really cool. You know, Toph and I both have always been leaders on teams and things like that. And, you know, I think we just look at this as another way to try and lead the world, the hockey world, in some small way and in a capacity where we can reach as many people as possible every week. And, you know, for me, we started the podcast, I believe, like right in the beginning of November of 2018. And I was fresh off like retirement, and I retired early for multiple reasons. I was still getting paid well in Europe. Despite having all the concussions, like I still had offers for the next year, and I decided to retire early. The main reason was I was going through divorce, and that was super hard on me. And I didn't know if I was trying to save my marriage or what was going on like with that. And then B, just with all my concussions, with my training company had grown to a size where I was making as much money in the summer as I was playing hockey. And I was like, well, my brain going through like, think I'm about to go through divorce, see if I can, you know, salvage my marriage, things like that. Like I needed this podcast as much as I feel like the hockey world needed this podcast too, you know, and, it was really, really, really important for me to have that during the first 2 years of my retirement. Obviously, like still being able to play, but deciding to retire early, super freaking hard on me. Super, super, super hard on me. But being able to do this every week, twice a week, we used to do it twice a week, record twice a week. We didn't even do it once a week. We recorded 2 nights a week. You know, and to be on a call with you twice a week definitely helped me, as somebody who I've always looked up to, not literally, but figuratively.
I knew that was coming.
Always got to get that one in there. It'll never stop. It's like when I walk by my wife and I give her butt a little tap and she's like, hey, and I'm like, that'll never change, baby. If it does, there's something wrong. And then we laugh about it every day. Same thing. I got a short joke. You're getting it. But yeah, dude, like this podcast has helped me just as much as I feel like I've tried to help the world, you know, like with what happened in my career with my concussions and how that changed my career a little bit and things like that. Like, you know, I tell people all the time when I give speeches, like I'll always have this hole in my heart from signing an NHL deal and all my dreams are coming true. And then stupid freak accident one morning in end of June, I fall into the boards full speed and lose memory and have a neck injury and have a traumatic brain injury that has me, you know, pretty messed up for the better part of a year, and thought I'd never play again and never really was the same player ever. You know, and life changed and things like that. And so because of that hole in my heart, like I love giving back to other people. I love helping other people achieve a goal of theirs, because like every time I do it, it feels like it kind of fills that hole that'll always be there for my career. So to all you listening, like, you know, I need you guys just as much as I feel like I'm able to help you guys. And then I know Toph is the same, and we freaking love doing this every week. We love the connections. We love what it does for the hockey world and all the messages we get from all you. Like, it's the reason we keep doing it. It's the reason that we keep trying to make the game better or keep moving it forward and things like that. So I'm super honored to be on this and appreciate all of you who come on the ride with us every week.
Absolutely, man. Then there's so many people, that have been a part of this that we are so grateful for. At the top of the list, Steph and Laura. Steph came on as our podcast producer when I got the job at Michigan, because there was no way I was going to be able to continue to do all the social media and editing and everything like that. And now she's working with me on a much larger capacity. And then Laura came on not too long ago, and they've just added so much value to the podcast. They're listening right now. So thank you guys. We appreciate you and love you so much.
Love you, Dad.
I love you, Dad. Actually, the one person we should probably thank too is John Lounsbury. So John Lounsbury was, I don't know what his official capacity was, but Gel Sticks was our first title sponsor. Remember that? Like however many years ago, 5-6 years ago, Lounsey came to us and he's been a guest on the pod and doing some really cool things in the hockey world. And it was really cool that they sponsored our podcast, man. Like, it's the first time we ever made money, like doing, not to say we make a lot of money doing it, but we got a check for doing a podcast, which was kind of cool. And so, yeah, thanks to Lounsey. Want to thank the guys at Ice Hockey Systems, particularly Scotty and Chris. Those guys have been with us pretty much every step of the way too. And, if you listen to our podcast at all, you know how much we believe in Ice Hockey Systems, and we've partnered with them on a lot of different things. And they're just, what they're doing for the hockey world here too is absolutely incredible. You and Train Heroic, we've mentioned them every podcast here for I don't know how many years, and what that's been able to do to help you to grow your empire online and beyond. So cool. And then newer sponsors that we have, like Helios Hockey, just an unbelievable product that is huge in growing the game and player development, and then Crossbar coming on most recently, and Skate Tech coming on most recently. Crossbar being a company that just helps youth organizations operate way more efficiently. And then Skate Tech, just a great equipment brand company that is sponsoring our Wednesday episodes right now. And so there's just like so many people that have supported what we've done, either officially or unofficially. And it's really important for us to kind of say a thank you to everybody on this episode, because, it's these partnerships have been amazing.
Yeah, we couldn't do without you, and like you said, to have people that believe in what we do and believe in our messaging and believe in the way that we see the game and where we keep trying to push the game is really special for us. And we can't thank you guys enough for all the support over the years.
Yeah, 100%, 150 million%. And just a couple other things, like I mentioned some of the guys at Ice Hockey System, but JP and Mike and Bill at Helios, Chad at Crossbar. Like, man, we say it all the time. The hockey world is filled with just amazing people, just absolutely amazing people. And so we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for everything that you've done for our podcast. And now I think we should get into the meat of what the pod's going to be today. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, today, what we wanted to do is it's been 7 years. Vex and I both are completely different people than we were 7 years ago, with so many different life experiences. And I would like to say that we've learned quite a bit over the last 7 years of the, hundreds upon hundreds of official podcast conversations that we've had, other types of conversations, podcast adjacent with a lot of other people, so I wanted to kind of go through what are the three biggest things that each of us felt like we've learned over the past 7 years that have made us who we are today, have allowed us to have an impact on the hockey world, things that we see in the hockey world. And so I'm excited to kind of go through these kind of three lessons each. And so Vex, why don't you want to go first?
Yeah. I touched on one already, but for me, one of the things that I've learned from the podcast, being on the podcast, from the people in the podcast who've been on the show in all the different facets that we've had. We've had current pros, we've had retired pros, we've had pros that have been retired for 20 years now, coaches who played and are now coaches, parents, just like so many different people that are in the game. Has just made me realize and even reinforce my own belief that I'd already held and seen how it was true, that hockey is one of the best predictors and teachers for the game of life. There's no doubt in my mind that when you have a good hockey experience growing up, and by good, I mean, well-rounded coaches that understand that, they're helping you become, boys into men and girls into women, and using the game as a metaphor for teaching about life, whether the players know that or not, and responsibility and how to believe in yourself, how to pick yourself up, after a bad game and you got another game in a few hours, trying out for teams, putting yourself out there, working your bag off and not knowing, what's going to happen. There's no guarantee in anything. You to make that higher level team or to have a better season next year, you've got to invest the time and energy and effort into yourself. And I already felt that way, but like going through this podcast for 7 years and having all these amazing guests on we've had, it's just reinforced to me that I truly believe if you do hockey right at the younger ages, and that does not mean you make it to pro hockey. It does not mean you get a scholarship. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not just the people that make it to the higher levels. If you have the kind of youth hockey experience that Toph and I are always talking about and preaching, that should be the base level of foundation for the game of hockey at the younger ages, it's going to help you to be a happier, healthier, more successful human after the game of hockey. And this podcast has completely reinforced that for me.
100%, man. So we do our 10 questions with all of our guests at the end. That gets housed in our Hockey Think Tank U. And one of the questions we ask every single one of our guests is, what's the biggest life lesson you've learned from playing this game that has helped you to be a successful person, outside of the game? It's my favorite question that we ask. And the cool part about it is not every answer is the same. They're all different, because we each take different things out of the game that can help us to be better fathers, better husbands, better wives, better mothers, better confidants, better business people. Like, this game is an unbelievable teacher for life. And, I think both of us can look at the successes that we've had, and it's because of what we learned in the game. I don't know, a lot of it, like a lot of the reason why. And so, yeah, man, I think there's certainly some themes, and I guess I'll kind of get into my first one, because I think it's very much related to what you're talking about. And that is, resilience is everything. One thing that I've learned in the 7 years of doing this podcast and having all of these conversations is that resilience is everything. And if you have a dream of doing anything in life worthwhile, whether that's making the NHL or the PWHL, or being a great dad, being a great mom, like, it's hard. It's just hard. That's just a fact. Like, life is hard. And it's been so cool. Some of the stories of some of the people that we've had on our podcast that have like just truly inspired me and truly inspired a lot of other people that listen based on the messages that we get. Like, I think about one of our first, guests, maybe first 20 guests, was Tyler Parks. Tyler Parks was the most downloaded episode that we had for a long time. And Tyler Parks was a kid that got cut from his varsity high school hockey team in St. Louis as like a junior. And he ended up playing Division I hockey at St. Lawrence and being a professional hockey player at the AHL level and making a ton of money in the game. Dude, guys, like, this guy was cut from his high school team in St. Louis as a junior. That's insane.
Where high school hockey is not very good.
I know, right? And so, like, I just, like, when him being one of our first guests, that really, like, and to see the reaction to his episode on social media and just with the amount of downloads that happened, it really was like an aha moment of like, this is really what people want to listen to. Like these kinds of stories, because we all go through it, man. Like we all go through the tough stuff, and there's probably kids that are at that juncture right now that are listening to the Tyler Parks episode 6 years ago, and hearing him get cut and how he's playing pro hockey. And they're like, okay, maybe I can do that too. Like that, like let's go. Like this is attainable. And so I think about that. I think about like, even guys like Andrew Alberts, who came on the podcast and got cut from his Bantam hockey team at 15, in Minnesota, and plays 450 games in the NHL, or Matt Molson, who got cut from his, junior team in tier 2 in Ontario and goes on to play however many years in the NHL, making $30-40 million. Zach Metza, who just got called up to the Buffalo Sabres, captain of Quinnipiac when they won the national championship a couple of years ago. And same thing, like grew up, like wasn't one of the best players, got cut, all these kinds of things at some of these older ages, and just persevered. So like, honestly, the first thing that I had down for me was like how important resilience is. It's everything, man. How often, even when we don't like even know the stories of people coming on to the capacities that they have, and they just like talk about some of this stuff that they had to go through. Like every freaking podcast, I feel like there's somebody that had to get through a really tough time to make it to where they got to.
Literally all of them. And I think, to piggyback on that point too, how important it is that we're sharing those. How many times have we got messages from junior players, college players, pro players? We've got, Olympian, NHL, multiple time all-star who listens to like every show of ours and texts us and gives us feedback a couple times a month about what he's hearing and what he loves. Like these stories affect everyone at every level of the game. And it's just really important to hear about the resiliency in these people that we bring on the podcast, and why they are who they are and where they're at now currently, or where they were able to get to. Because so many times, especially now in today's world with the social media age, you only see the highlights. You don't see the I got injured, Toph tearing his knee, and then no team's talking to him in the USHL anymore after he tears his knee, or me going through my concussion stuff, or a coach hating me, trying to get me to quit in front of the entire team in juniors, and 2 years later I'm the only captain in NCAA D1, the NCAA D1 that's a sophomore. Like these things, like these stories of resilience, and all these people that have come on, like it's really powerful. So, and resiliency is literally everything to being successful in hockey, and then obviously in life after hockey.
Yeah, 100%, man. And Vex and I have tried very, very hard and to the best of our ability to really open up to you guys on different capacities with some of the stuff that we've been through in our lives, and the support that we've needed, the help that we've gone to get, the people that have been there for us, and in everything, like to be able to get through tough times. It takes a village, it takes a community, it takes a support network, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, man, hopefully you guys have been able to build that mental toughness muscle, build that resilience muscle, give you some hope through some of the stories of some of the people that we've had on, and through our stories that can help you to get through some of that tough stuff, man, because we all go through it.
Absolutely.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet, and the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
My second one here that I wrote down, things I've learned from the podcast, is one that's super important for me. Staying connected to the game when you're finished playing is important. I think it's really important. It was really important for me, going through what I was going through when I retired, and then going through what I was going through in my personal life, and like double whammy, like when you play pro hockey for 10 years and all you've known is playing pro hockey. Like my first job other than reffing hockey as a child, my first job was when I signed on the dotted line with the Boston Bruins. All I had known was being a pro hockey player. I mean, yes, I started my training company, but it was very small until the last few years of my career. And even then, the way that I was running it wasn't run like a real business because it was a secondary stream of income and a secondary thing that I was doing in my free time. Pro hockey was still the main thing for most of that time. And whenever you finish the game, man, you're going to miss it. I tell all these guys, I had a talk with a junior team this week. Their coach asked me to have a speech with them before their practice, kind of what was going on with them. And they're a winning team. They're in first place. And he wasn't liking what he was seeing in the locker room and stuff. And I was just telling him, boys, you're never going to have this type of thing that you have right now ever again. There's nothing in the world like being on a hockey team. I've had so many experiences. I lived all over the world, I work with people all over the world with my businesses. And I work with some really cool, successful people and some of the things that I do. Nothing compares to walking into the rink for practice or showing up to the rink for game day and going to battle with the boys and warming up with Suey and Two Touch and pregame skates and being in the gym with your boys. And there's literally nothing like it. But when the game ends, you're not going to get a lot of those things. You have to really try hard to search them out and to find them. But the easiest way, and something that helped me transition from being a pro hockey player into normal life for the rest of my life, was coaching that year, was doing this podcast, was working with hockey players. A lot of the guys that I played with that had a tough time transitioning, they walked away from the game cold turkey right away. And I understand that mindset. I thought maybe I would do that too until we started doing this podcast. And I realized, holy crap, I need this. I need to still be involved in the game. I've done this my whole life. It's an addict. They can't just stop cold turkey right away. You get sick, you miss it, you get itchy. You're like, I need my fix. Staying in the game in some way, shape, or form will help you ease that transition. So I don't care how long you played, get back in the game. Get back in the game, give back to it what you got from it, and keep perpetuating that positive cycle. We need more of that. And I've just learned from this podcast that it's been really, really important for me to stay in the game.
Yeah. Do you remember when it was during COVID and the USA Hockey guys reached out to us and they were kind of trying to
that was cool.
Get a pulse on things that were going on. So they reached out and just, hey, what are you hearing? All that kind of stuff. It was us and probably, 8 or 9 of them. Yeah. And it was really interesting because I was I don't know if I was coaching or hockey director in Syracuse at the time, whatever it was, but I was going through a really tough time, trying to navigate COVID. And it was my first time ever as kind of a hockey director and learning a lot. And I was I couldn't believe some of the things that I was seeing. And I'll never forget that they were kind of you probably remember this. They were like, you guys have no idea how many really good people like who have played pro hockey or have kids, that are coming up through it and like want to give back, and they're like, they get in for like a year or two and then they're like, nah, I'm good. Like, this is too much. I don't like it. Like, I'm just going to be a parent and stay on the sidelines, or I'm just going to get out of it altogether. I'll go find another industry to go work in. That was really crappy to hear that. But
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense, like just the way that the culture of youth hockey has kind of shifted over the past decade or two, let's call it, with the professionalization and just how insane it gets at such young ages and the parents and like, it's, yeah. So when you say like getting back in the game and giving back to the game, like we need to make sure that our game is in a good place so more people want to take that step and do it too. Would you agree?
100%. 100%. And there's a lot of idiots in the game too, just like every game. And we need the good people to overrule the idiots and the people that are bastardizing the game and over professionalizing at too young of an age. And, we need more people to stand up to the people that don't actually understand what development means and things like that. They just think, oh, you're 9, you should do what a pro does. No, you shouldn't. You should not do what the pros do. You are 9. You should be having fun and chasing kites and playing shinny hockey and playing, ding dong ditch in the hotel and tag and swimming on trips. These coaches who come to me are like, you talk to my team about swimming on trips and they think I'm going to tell them like something physiological and like why you shouldn't swim. And I'm like, have the swim party. So I'm like, they're 9. All right. They're not 15 playing the natty championships. Different story there. Okay. And they can swim at the end of the day. They don't got to swim before the game, but they're kids. And my best memories in hockey from childhood, almost all of them have to do with my teammates and fun things that we did and not the actual hockey. It was the bond that hockey brought and all the fun we had going skiing in Banff and Calgary, staying in the hotels where the middle of the hotel is cut out and you can look down at the lobby all the way down and you're running around and you can see the other ones and you're getting in trouble for playing tag in the hotel and like just
leaners,
all those things. Yeah. Leaners, what's up, leaners? I'm sure hotels don't like that one, but
no.
Like, we need more people to be like, hey, they're kids. Let's let them have the fun that we had. They're not going to turn pro at 9.
Yeah, man. I hear you. Well, that kind of goes a little bit with what my number 2 is. The one thing that I've learned, I said resilience is everything. The other thing that's everything is people. Surround yourself. Like if there's anything that I hope people get out of our podcast, the one overarching message is that like, just surround yourself and surround your kids with good people. Like that's the most important thing. And I even think about some of the experiences that I've had within this game, some of the tougher ones versus some of the really, really good ones. A lot of it came down to just an alignment with people and people who value the same things that I do and believe in the same things that I do, as opposed to, something completely different or goes against my, morals and values or whatever it may be. Like this game is filled with really, really awesome people. And the hard thing about what we do, I think, and like is calling out some of the BS and the bogusness. And there's been times even in this podcast when we've had conversations where we've been like, are we being a little too negative right now? Like, I think maybe we need to start like, going to positive town a little bit more. But if you guys saw the emails and messages that come across our way about some of the things going on in youth hockey, like it literally takes a toll on my mental health at times, hearing some of this stuff, and some of it we certainly, call out. But I think that does pale in comparison to the amount of good people that are in this game. And the other thing that I've really tried to do as it relates to people, and this is like a lot of what we try to do on our podcast, is like, we don't want to try to tell anybody what to do. We just want to inform. That's why we have people on who disagree with us, hence our Uncle Tim, that came on before, but certainly other people that we've had debates with and things like that. And there's a lot in hockey that we really believe in. But one of the things we always talk about too is that like sometimes there's not a right or a wrong. There's a different perspective on things. And so I know when we first started doing this, when I think about ways that I've changed, I used to get like really upset with people who would do things differently than me. And now I really, really, really try to see the other side of the spectrum and really try to put myself in their shoes as to why they're making certain decisions the way that they are. And I think most people are making decisions that they think are going to benefit kids, whether I agree with it or not. Now, are there some people that are out there to make money? 100% there are. And so like, but I do feel like one thing that I've tried to do a better job of is really be objective, take other people's opinions, and really try to learn myself in having some of these conversations, and so I can be better. Does that make sense?
No,
I feel like I went a
100%.
lot of different ways there, but
No, 100%. And I mean, we've been able to sit on the shoulders of giants for 7 years here. And it's given us a lot of perspective. It's allowed us to, wisdom is earned. Wisdom is earned through experience. But I feel like we've been able to gain a lot of wisdom in the game of hockey because we've had on giants in the game that have done great things in all the different possible sectors of the game of hockey, or things that have an intersectionality with hockey, like nutrition or therapists or mindset or confidence coaches, video coaches, trainers, all these different people, teachers who are great at teaching so we can help people be better coaches. And we've just gained so much wisdom from again, being able to ride shotgun on these podcasts and ask these people the questions that I think will help others. And I'll give ourselves a pat on the back. I don't think that we have ever gone too far being like, do it this way. This is the best way. I think we do a pretty good job of presenting why we think this way will work the best. But like, if you've got another way, it can work that way too. Or, just helping people to kind of find the best ways, or even just try on their own to find what works best for their organization by bringing on people that have different ideas than them and things that are working and not working in the game, so yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
And even thinking about like some of the people that we've been able to meet who are doing like really cool things in the hockey world, like I think about like a John Francisco, who's a Minnesota guy who we had on, who has this company, Forecheck Hockey. He's trying to make the game safer for kids based on body contact. And they have these dummies that they use. And it's like, we've been able to meet people like John and plenty of others that like really are trying to make the game better and can help us to see things in maybe a different light that can help us to make the game better in our capacity too. And so, man, I'm very, very blessed to have been a part of this game for so many years. And then now doing this podcast, being able to meet so many people and then bring people that we know really well that have incredible things to say about the game and incredible ideas to help make it better and help put things into perspective. And so, yeah, man, just like it's all like my first one is it's resilience is everything. And the second one is people is everything. If you want to have a better experience in this game, surround yourself and align yourself with the people who believe in things, that you think is going to help, and it just goes a long way.
It does. And I'll go on a little bit of a tangent here off of that too. Something that I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to do over the last 7 years too, is if there's something egregious, like we don't shy away from it. We talk about it.
Yeah.
If there's something like ridiculous going on out there, no matter who's running it, no matter who's, at the head of some of these ridiculous things that are happening, like 9-year-old, 8-year-old AAA, there's a lot of former NHLers like running these things. And, most people are like, what? Why are we making people do this at this age? Why are we turning parents and kids into crazy at this age? Like, it's not what hockey was ever about or should be about. And it's pushing people out of the game because of the amount of money it takes to play now at the earlier and earlier ages. And, a lot of people don't have the bag to stand up to people like that and talk about it. And we do. And, I know I catch flack from some of the things we say on the podcast sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. I don't care because I'm here for all the listeners. I'm here for the moms and dads. I'm here for the kids. I'm here for the coaches that are trying to make the game better, not just, bastardize it, like I said. And I don't think that we ever go too far being negative, but I am proud of us for when we see things that don't add up and don't make sense, we are not afraid to talk about it. And, I know especially for you, like for me, I'm a little bit insulated. I'm in the gym, I'm not out there on the road. I don't go to USA Hockey things. You do. You have to walk in the room after you say things. And that takes some bag, and I respect you for that. And I'm happy that we do it on this podcast because I've ever since I retired, I've made it ever since I played in juniors for that coach, I made it a point that I will say what I feel when I feel like it's the right thing to do, and I will not care if anybody doesn't like what I say. And I just respect that you do that, and we do it on this podcast.
Yeah, man. Had a couple not so happy campers with us in the 7 years too. Had a couple angry phone calls, let's say. But it's okay. You know what? Sometimes you need to call some things out to, get some things moving.
Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah, buddy.
All right. So I've had two, you've had two. What's your last one?
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1. Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
My last one is, I try and always, as much as I can, especially as I get older, zoom out, like you were talking about earlier with your number two. But it's not even just about hockey, but like putting yourself out there in service to others is something I feel like we've done with this podcast, especially when we started. And we were like, yep, we're doing it. And we're like, well, you know, we had good careers compared to the rest of the world, but like, I'm not Sidney Crosby. You're not Mario Lemieux. Like, are people going to listen to us? You know? And we were like, we're just going to try and help one person. You know, and then I started doing that with my Instagram at the same time, probably because of what we were doing on the podcast. I don't care. I know people are making fun of me for being on Instagram and showing that I have guys do cartwheels and somersaults before it was like the cool thing to do with athletes, like being an athlete in the gym. And people used to chirp me, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I know this works. I know this helps. We're gonna put ourselves out there, and we're gonna lay it all out there because there's somebody that this is gonna help. And, you know, being able to zoom out now over my hockey career, over my company's career, over our podcast career of the last 7 years, I just think that one of the most important things that I've learned in life is that you've got to do something to put yourself out there in service of others, to make your immediate area, radius, a better place to live in your own community, in the hockey community, in your country, in the world. Like, we need more people putting themselves out there to do things in service of others where you're not looking to get something back. It's just like, I'm going to do some good. And I just think that that's really important. And, I feel like that's something that was our mission when we started this podcast. And yeah, now like we make a couple bucks off it, barely anything, but you know, like, I've also seen that when you do that stuff, when you just try to put out good into the world, when you try to help other people that you don't know or you do know, like, karma, good things happen back to you, you know, happen for you, doors open, things like that. And so I just think that if more people put themselves out there, obviously the world would be a better place. But I also think people would be a lot happier because you would start to notice like different things, and different people would want to associate with you because you're doing good. And I've never seen anything really bad come from putting yourself out there, other than the ridicule up front where people are going to do that. But it's like, people do that because they just don't have the tenacity, the mental fortitude to go through the part where you suck and you're wearing a Britney Spears headphone on your head and your volume is terrible and you're on a Skype call and it keeps getting dropped for the first 50 episodes and you battle through it. You know, I had a friend come up to me one day and the first thing he said to me is, I hate your podcast. That was one of my good friends back then. Yeah, this was in our second year doing the podcast.
I know who you're talking about.
I hadn't seen him in a year and he's like, yeah, I hate your podcast. I hate the intro. I hate Toph's voice. I don't like what you guys talk about. And I was like, oh, good to see you too, bro. Yeah, you know, but like so weird, but like, you're going to have that type of stuff. But the more you put yourself out there, the more light you shed, the more good you do. You're just going to be a happier person, first of all. And I truly believe in karma, and good things will come back to you also from doing it. So I realized through this podcast how important it is to do things for the better good without any goal or hope of return, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's anything more impactful in your personal development than doing things for others without the expectation of something coming back in return. You know, I've read that in a lot of different books about leadership and of people that I admire and really respect in sports and business and beyond. And when you have a service mindset and attitude, that goes a long way. And I want to kind of circle back to something that you said there about like putting yourself out there. So like, I'll just be very upfront. So like something that I struggle with is, kind of like the control that other people's opinions have over me, like caring way too much about what other people think. That is something that I have struggled with for a long time. And this podcast has made me better at that in a lot of different ways. And I feel like, and for all like the kids out there, because you guys are growing up in this era of social media and comparative culture that is just completely and inextricably toxic and is terrible in every study that I've seen about like mental health for kids coming up. This comparative culture is bad. And I think a big part of that reason why is because kids get paralyzed by the fear of judgment of other people. And there's no, I think, bigger deterrent to reaching your potential than having something in your brain that when you are looking to act naturally, it gives you that pause of, ooh, if you do this, this is how other people are going to think. And so I would just encourage everybody out there, because I'm sure there's a ton of adults that struggle with this too, kind of like I do, but like, who cares about what other people think? Like, if you feel like what you're doing is the right thing to do, like there's nothing more powerful. And you say this a lot, but like, there's nothing more powerful than putting all of everything that you have into something. And you might not get the reward at the end. Like, I didn't make the NHL. Like, that was the goal for my entire life. But the person that I became through that pursuit and going all in and giving everything I had to do it, like I can sit here, and I'm not going to say I have no regrets, because we always have regrets, but like I can put my head on the pillow at night knowing that I tried to do something of significant value and tried to reach a dream. And so, like, for the kids that are listening, like, man, the only thing that matters is how you view yourself. It's not what other people view of you. It's how you view yourself. And there's going to be people throughout your journey that are going to doubt you. There are going to be people that are going to be on your journey that don't have your best interests at heart. There are going to be people on your journey that are going to be a roadblock into doing the things that you aspire to do. However, there's also going to be a lot of good people that are going to help you with that too. And that's why surrounding yourself with really good people is so important, and drowning out the people that have those negative, thoughts on you. That's ultimately so incredibly powerful and important. And so, yeah, I think that's honestly been something that's helped me on the podcast, is like, hey, like, there's been times where I've said something and like on Monday, I'm like, oh boy, how's this going to go? Like, how's this going to go? What are people going to think? What's this specific person going to think? Because they're going to know that I'm talking about them in some capacity. Right. But ultimately, like, speaking your truth, living, your values, that's the most important thing. And like, putting yourself out there. I love that.
100%, bro. Well said. Well said.
All
I was
right.
thinking about a lot of guys who live that way, and those are the guys that I respect the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like, there's a book, it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a You Know What. And it's one of my favorite books I've ever read, because it's like, you only have so much, what's to give in your life. So make sure you're giving them to the right capacity. And usually we are giving way too much of a, what to other people's opinions, when in reality that ultimately shouldn't matter at the end of the day. So, okay. Should we get to my last one here? All right. My last one's a little deep. I don't want to say deeper, but, this game of hockey is worth fighting for. That's my last one. This game that we love, that's giving us everything, is worth all of the things that we do, buddy. Like, at the end of the day, would you agree?
Truth.
I just like, I think about all the different conversations that I have. I think about all the different messages that we get. I think about just the way that we've seen this game shift in the past 7 years that we've been doing this. And there's a lot that, we don't really like. There's a lot of things going on in this game that's given us everything that aren't as readily available as they were when we were young kids, in terms of some of the lessons that we've learned, in terms of just the way that the game is given to the kids or not given to the kids today. And so that's why we do what we do, man. And we're not going to change everything, and it certainly doesn't happen in a day. But I don't love where the game of hockey is headed in a lot of different capacities. And a big part of the reason for doing what we do is because this game has given us everything, and it's worth fighting for. You just...
I'm disagreeing with you. I thought you were going to keep going there. I'm letting you roll, baby. This is yours, number 3.
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah, but we're gonna do some podcasts here coming up that we're gonna show you some of the trends of kind of what's going on in the game. And I have a team here that we just went through a really big deep dive into a lot of the things that are going on in the US and Canada as it relates to youth hockey. Some of it obviously good, but a lot of it is not trending in the right direction, guys. And so we're going to be here every step of the way to continue fighting for the things that we believe in and the way that we feel the game should be given back to the kids. And a lot of what I've talked about, if you listen to us, a lot of what I've talked about in the recent past is we need people to start getting out of their silos and start working together. I think that's one of the biggest things that I think needs to change about our youth hockey culture, because like we've talked about a lot, there's a lot of really good people in hockey. The only problem is they don't work together. Everybody's in their silos worrying about what they need to do, as opposed to thinking about things from like a little bit more of a 10,000 foot view of what's best for the game, what's best for the kids. And when we can step out of our silos and start getting perspective and having conversations with each other and stop like just hurling insults and negative recruiting and all this kind of stuff, like our game is going to get so much better. And so that's like so much of what I want to do in the next, little bit of future here is I really want to start bringing more people together. I really want to start bringing more people together to start collaborating, to start talking about the issues that we have. If we continue to keep going down this road, I really honestly, but like, I don't want to be Chicken Little and say the sky is falling, but I've seen the numbers. Okay. And we can talk about it on a different episode, not for this one, but the way things are going, there needs to be some change, and it needs to be some change for the positive here. And so this game has given me everything. It's 100% worth fighting for. And I'm going to dedicate so much of my time in the near future to bringing people together to start having honest conversations about what's going on and how can we work together to start solving some of the issues that we're seeing. Our game needs it.
Desperately. I think that what Toph's talking about, he's obviously shared a bit with me of the deep dive that his team has done. We're in for a rude awakening here, guys. I mean, it's some things need to change at the fundamental level for this to continue being a game, honestly. Like literally for this to continue being a game. There's so many good people in the game, but there's just things that need to be fixed. There's things, economically that absolutely need to change, or else 20 years from now, we're going to have way less hockey players. We're going to have rinks that have turned into malls or something else that are not rinks anymore. There's going to be a bunch of problems that are going to happen if things don't change.
Yeah, 100%, man. So I think just this game is worth fighting for, and we're going to continue to do that through the podcast, and Vex is going to continue to do that through what he does on social media and through what he does in the gym. I'll continue to do it working with youth organizations and with our hockey think tank. We're going to do everything we can to make this game better. And for me, a lot of it is going to be with the theme of bringing people together. Like it's hard to regulate. It's really, really hard to regulate. USA Hockey and Hockey Canada are in a tough spot in regulating things. You can have a debate on that. I'm sure people hear me say that are like, you're full of crap. They can do a lot more. Maybe there are some things that they can do, but honestly, like regulating, whenever I've seen that try to be done, that doesn't usually go very well. And so it needs to be people working together to start to solve some of these issues, and putting the kids first in every decision that is made. How can we make this game better for the kids? How can we grow this game to make it better for the kids? And that's our why ultimately at the end of the day. So in the 7 years that we've been doing this, man, I'm looking forward to the challenges ahead of trying to making the game better and doing it with some awesome people.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I'm lucky and honored and privileged and excited to be riding shotgun on some of it here on the podcast with you. And I can't wait for another 7 more, bro.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. It's been an amazing 7 years, man. If you could see the freaking earpieces that Vex and I were using 7 years ago over Skype. Oh man, that's
I wish I had a picture, man.
that was a sight to be seen. But we appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys for supporting what we do for these 7 years. Hopefully you've taken something from this and that has helped you in the hockey world or in just your real life in any capacity. Thank you. We appreciate you. And yeah, cheers to another 7, buddy.
Let's go, baby.
Hockey is back, and this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right at your fingertips. From player props to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and your bet wins. You'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. If I had needed this product, it's what I'd use. Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets in your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through per wager. Tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.